Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Bob here again, and this is going to be probably a quicker video than I would have liked to have done to introduce the game, but I'm still running on data at the moment, so I'm sure you'll understand it. So this is Reign of Darkness, which is a new MMO-ish sort of game. I get it's an MMO, it's an MMORPG, I think. Yeah, and a few people have mentioned it to me. I also saw Nonal playing it. It looked interesting. I thought I'd give it a go, and it is interesting, and these are my kind of early impressions really. First of all, I'll quickly cover the mechanics and whatnot of the game. I mean, the flavour of the game is very kind of dark medieval, dark European. They do allude to things like Vikings, etc. in some of the dialogue, so I believe it's supposed to be like a fantasy medieval European setting, which I do find attractive. I mean, some people might say that all fantasy games are that, but they're kind of not really. I mean, like, one of the reasons I enjoyed Dark Age of Camelot was it was kind of set in realms that I were familiar with, and tales and lore and legends that I was familiar with, and this kind of feels a little bit like that, which is quite nice. Visually, I think it's okay. I know some people have said it's kind of amazing. I guess what you need to get out of the way first of all is that this game is created by one person, and I believe it is literally one person. That's pretty amazing what can be done. I should also say before I go into it, the shortcomings of that obviously are that there are a lot of bugs. I've encountered some. Things like, I mean, I think the bug I've encountered the most is where you want to fight a mob, but the mob doesn't take, you can't damage the mob for some reason. It doesn't take any damage. It just stands there while you keep attacking it. If you get too close, it will aggro you and it can hit you, but you can't hit it. So that's the biggest issue that I've had. But I've seen people saying they've lost all their equipment, their character's been rolled back. They couldn't log into their character, all that kind of stuff. So, but it is alpha and it is written by one person, so I can forgive all that. If I leveled to 50 and I lost my character, I'll be annoyed, but I could forgive it, because you got to respect you got to respect someone who does this on their own, essentially. So yeah, be prepared before you part with. I think I paid £15 for it. I think it's like $20 or something. So I know that I'll easily get that value from it. So I'm not too concerned about the cost. Yeah, but if money's tight, and you've only got a certain amount to spend on games, this is buggy. So maybe think about that first. So let's quickly go over the mechanics and stuff. It's a fairly fast-paced combat RPG. I would say it falls more in it kind of feels more in the Diablo realm of gameplay, but obviously from this perspective, most of the skill trees have damage, essentially. Damage and buffs and healing seem to be what all the trees consist of in different flavours. It does feel quite basic, personally. I mean, if you look at the shaman tree, it's essentially got damage, it's got healing, it's got buffs, and you also get things like increased percentages to damage, increases to health, mana, and that kind of thing. But every tree, sorry about that. But every tree kind of feels very similar, apart from the name and the icon that are chosen to fit in with the flavour of the class. I think. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming this is something that will be fleshed out or maybe changed a bit. But like the Necromancer, for example, doesn't have any pets. Necromancer, like all the other classes, has buffs, damage, and in Necromancer's case, kind of like life transfer. So yeah, I would say that the skills and the combat are fairly basic. If you're looking for something a bit deeper, you're not going to get that here. There doesn't seem to be any like crowd control, that kind of thing. Combat is very quick, as I said, quite Diablo-esque, as some of the other things are in the game as well. This is my character screen. As you can see, you know, there are all of these, lots of different things here. I mean, actually, I mean, when you're looking at it, the game is actually like if you're someone who enjoys trying to min-max and look for the best combinations, you know, this is probably a game for you, because there are a lot of stats. I mean, you've got a lot of attributes, for example. So you got what you would call your general stats, I would say. Then you've got points you can put into things to increase damage and the effectiveness of your spells or your weapons. Then you've got specializations, which kind of they all seem to do the same thing. So magic reduces the cost of my magic-based abilities, increases damage, etc. But intellect kind of does a similar thing. Actually, intellect does increases your mana points, but it increases your and your regeneration, actually, but increases your damage as well. So there is some link between these. I mean, as a shaman, I think most of my spells are runic, and again, if you put points into these, you can it just increases damage or healing or critical percentage or regeneration percentage, basically. And I think that, yeah, if you're someone who enjoys that kind of thing, then you have a whale of a time trying to work out the most efficient way of spending your points. And when you spend your points, you know, this is where it gives you an overview of where you are, basically, for everything, essentially. So spells, that's how much bonus damage I've got. I've got a slightly increased chance of spell hit, then you've got melee hit, etc, etc. So yeah, if you're the sort of person who likes that kind of thing, you'll enjoy it. Equipment is very similar to Diablo as well, I would say, or Project Gorgon, you know, if you prefer that comparison. Equipment drops, varying colours representing various rarities, and they all boost something in some way, essentially, generally some of your stats. I have been told that you don't get equipment that has specialization increasing stats on there. So what I've kind of done mostly is to put my points into, you get 10 points per level, and the Necronomicon, which is your kind of your class book, you get 2 points per level. You start off with 10, I think, and you get 2 per level to put into spells. These are the ranks. So top is rank 1, second is rank 2. You need to get 10 points into a rank before you can then go into rank 2, etc. So yeah, but as I said, if you're a min-maxer or you enjoy looking for the most efficient builds, then this would probably be a game for you. But yeah, as I said, I've kind of heard that specializations you don't seem to get pluses to on items, so that's where I've been putting the points, rightly or wrongly, potentially, probably wrong. And, yeah, so your equipment increases your attributes, essentially, apart from your specializations. I've got some. Let's just. I mean, it's very simplistic, but that's fine. So I've got a necromancer skill that increases my intellect by 25, and you will notice that your regen goes up, your mana points go up, your damage goes up. I've got a runic buff as well, which buffs my runic up quite high, actually, and then that just increases my, as you can see, it increases those skills, basically. Yeah, so it's very numbers based, if that's your thing. If you enjoy that kind of thing, you'll like that. This is the perspective. I don't need to go into this too much. The graphics you can see, I quite like the graphics. As I said, you know, when you consider that this is all done by one person, it's fairly amazing. What I quite like is you've got these health potions, which it looks like you can upgrade them, I think. And when you use them, you gain some life or some mana, and very Diablo-y again, but they kind of regenerate over time. And it looks as though you can probably this is a novice one, so it looks like I can upgrade those at some point. Inventory is quite similar. There is a cash shop where you can buy more bags and stuff. I have to say there is a cash shop, but it hasn't interfered at all with the game. I've completely forgotten about it. There's nothing in your face. Here's Ulf. an NPC. He's got some skills. One of the skills, I hope the sound is not too loud. Let's turn the music down a bit. Yeah, settings are very basic again. You've got graphics quality, essentially. I'll put it to max. I think that's max. You know. But there are NPCs in the game. You do get quests. There is a bit of a storyline behind it, but it's not really fleshed out, so I won't go into it too much. Suffice to say that something bad happened, you know, and you're investigating it and dealing with the aftermath. Let's go and do some combat. So I did get a quest to do some... I like the look of the game and the feel of the game. I'm a sucker for either snowy landscapes or misty landscapes. They just... they just always feel nice and nice and atmospheric. So tab targeting, bandit level 6. I think I've got. I'll just pull the bandit. I'll show you the combat. And I'll talk a little bit about the combat actually. Okay. That's another bug I've had as well. There we go. Dead. That is the combat. A lot of your min-maxing with combat comes from just working out the numbers to do the most damage. So as you can see, I've been mostly I'm all in shaman, which I'm not finding that interesting, to be honest. I might change over. You can have points in 3 different skills. My first points I put into persistence because it gives you a health and mana regen. Which felt like it kind of helped quite a bit at the start, but I might move those points. You can reset your points. It does cost you silver, though, to do that. Yeah, but I think you can have points in 3 different skills, so I might change quite soon. As I said, you start off with 10 points. I'm not sure if this is right, but you start off with 10, and you get 2 per level. So at level 50, I think you could probably have 110 points to splash around. That might be right or wrong. Not sure if my maths are right there. But I might kind of look at. I think the way that I'm going to be building, I think probably is to look at buffs. So an intellect buff will increase my damage. Embrace darkness. That gives +5 to all my attributes per rank, so it's going to be +50. Increases my critical strike chance as well. So I'm going to be looking at picking out my favourite damage spells, and then probably working around buffing, working around then buffs to buff my stats to do more damage. Essentially, I think probably maybe some healing as well. It's a strange game, as I said. Combat's quite. Once you get into combat, you're kind. One of the things that I don't like about it, and this might change, is I don't feel like I can be like a magic user. So I can cast spells, but invariably mobs are going to, unless you kill the mob or it gets to you, you're going to get into melee combat. So yeah, I kind of want to build my character as more of a come on, I want to build my character as more of a like spellcaster, but because it feels like I'm always going to get into melee range, yeah, I think you kind of got to think about your points, where you're putting them. You know, I seem to be getting hit hard and quite often at the moment. Now, my armour is just the basic starter armour. I haven't found any new. Oh, hello. Oh, I found some. Nice. Just as I said that, I found some new legs. Because I just had the base legs. Arcane, so intellect, defense, armor. What legs am I currently wearing? Okay, armor 10. Okay, so this has got 107 more armor. So what I need to do, rather than moaning about my equipment, is just wait until I upgrade it. Essentially, so that's increased my my durability by quite a lot, I would say. Your items have durability as well, so you need to repair them, but it doesn't seem to be too expensive. What have we got here? This one. Yeah, so as you can see, the combat is very quick. You know, I can put. I mean, I've tried putting 2 or 3 mobs that are slightly lower than me. What I find is that I can reasonably easily kill mobs by level, but what I do find is that they hit me really hard. You get things like, so you also get secondary effects. So I cast Chakra Shock, and that increases my runic stat. No, it lowers the mob's runic resistance, and then that spell increases my runic attribute, which means that I think my runic spells then do more damage. I think that's probably how it works. I wasn't doing any melee damage there, that's pretty bad. Don't want to die. There we go. Chuck some healing on. You can spam your potions as well until they empty out. I'm not sure if that means that they then regenerate slower. I did have a favour for a favour. For a quest. Survival skills. No. Wolf's offer? Oh, okay, yeah, I had a quest to kill bandits. I wasn't sure what brought up my quest log when I first started the game, but L does that. So yeah, so Wolf's give me a quest to kill bandits, which is quite good. Because there are plenty of bandits here. I've also got a quest to collect some pork meat. And I know that there are some porky pigs around here. The drop rate on... They're kind of like main quests and secondary quests. And what I found is that the drop rate on main quests is fine, fair enough. But the drop rate on your secondary quests are really low. There's a scorpion here, so I can show you some different mobs as well. Now I think I might have found a bit of an OP cheat early on. And it's that this skill here... which I've ranked up to 10, so I've had to put a lot of points in it. Lightning Cloud does a lot of damage early on, so I've found that I can round up like 2 or 3 mobs and nuke them down, like AoE them with that. What level is this dude? There we go. There we go. So it's about finding the most efficient way of doing things. So if I cast that spell on something, it lowers its runic. It weakens it to runic. If I then cast that spell, it increases my runic rank. And then... actually, that's arcane type magic. I don't know if that means it's runic or not. So maybe that's not quite working. How I was hoping. Yeah, but this game is all about finding the most efficient way to build your character. I know most RPGs are like that, but more so, I think Diablo type games more so are like that. And this one is more so like that. And then finding your best rotation, really. As you can see though, like I kind of almost dead here. So as you can see, like maybe I need to include another damage attack, but if anyone's got any tips, let me know. But my initial damage burst at the start almost killed the mob, but then I was kind of relying on my melee to finish it off with. Yeah, while I wait for my spells to regenerate. So what I would like to do, really, is to try and build a pure, like, magey class. As you probably know if you watch my games, I've never been a fan of melee characters. I don't know why, because I feel that in real life I would probably be the, you know, in real life, in real fantasy life, I'd probably be the, you know, the stopper, like the blocker at the front, maybe. Maybe that would suit my body type and personality more than a mage. But yeah, I just do like the intricacies of playing a mage and all the different abilities and stuff that they do, particularly if it's like a shamanistic-y kind of feeling, Yeah, so as you can see here, I've kind of... That was a bit easier, that one. But you kind of do your burst and then you're in melee. So I kind of feel that at some point, unless you guys, anyone can tell me otherwise, I feel at some point I'm going to have to put some points into some sort of melee defense and avoidance. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep taking too much damage. This is a nice little section here. I'm not sure what it's. I'm not sure what it's for. There don't seem to be any mobs in here, but it looks like a little. What is that over there? Oh, there's like a goat or something. Some bodies here. I don't seem to have anything. I don't know if there's a quest for this at some point. I quite like this. There's like some weapons and a what looks like a Necronomicon, I guess. There. I'm not sure what's going on here. But yeah, it's got some atmosphere as well. There's some nice atmospheric music playing in the background. Oh, I've reached level 10. So now I've got my 2 points to spend, essentially. And then if you go to your character screen, you get 10 attribute points to spend where you like. Dex is your chance to dodge, melee and ranged. So that's down here. Block, I haven't got a shield. So I don't know if I need a shield for block. Parry. Yeah, so I need to look at that. Physical is damage bonus. Reduces your chances, your melee. Okay. So defense is block chance. Resist all from defense. Yeah, so I kind of feel it because it feels as though I'm going to have to get into melee range. It feels as though I feel as though I'm going to have to invest some points into yeah, those skills at some point. I'm not sure what this barrier is. Maybe that stops you going any further. But look at that castle up there. It's a very atmospheric game. Okay. I've only just started. Oh, a nice little crit there for 2,000. Yeah. The damage numbers are high. I mean, I always feel a bit funny about damage numbers in games. Like when you're level 10 and you're doing 2,000 damage, it feels a bit excessive. Maybe they need... Yeah, I do prefer smaller numbers because I think otherwise at later levels the numbers get a bit ridiculous. You end up like doing, yeah, tens of thousands of damage. Oh, both of those. Yeah, so my chakra skill is also an AoE spell. So a lot of the spells seem to be, a lot of the skills seem to be area of effect. No pork loin drops though, which is rather annoying. You pick up items that you sell. I'm not sure if there's a trade skills and stuff where you can make things. Yeah, I need to look into that. I'm still very new. These are very early impressions. Oh, hello. As you can see, my melee attacks are very low. Mobs do die in an explosion of guts and stuff as well. So if that's your kind of thing, you'll enjoy that. And let's go and kill some more bandits. But that's it. This is early impressions of Reign of Darkness. I'm enjoying it a lot. It's simplistic, but you know, I mean, they do say that. Oh, I've got a little thingy there. They do say that the best food contains the simplest of simplest of ingredients, and maybe Reign of Darkness is a bit like that. I do seem to have to kill some mobs before they get to me, so I don't have melee combat too much. But you know, my healing's pretty lame as a shame, and just because I just haven't concentrated on it essentially. I wonder if the problem with not being able to damage mobs is a sync issue. Maybe when there's more people playing, you know, that's kind of when you get problems. Maybe keep the buffs going. I think I've died here before, because I think what happens is that they pull. You get big pulls. Let's see if I can. I keep myself alive, or are we going to die? I don't know. Don't know. Going to die. Going to die. Need a skill. Okay. So he managed to kill 3 there. Awesome. I've never done that before. I normally die. I'm not using the potions either, so I'm not being as efficient as I should be. So let's go up here and have a look. There seems to be like a bandit cow. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, yeah, that was bad. I didn't resurrect myself there. So this is where you start. I think the story is very medieval Europe as well. I think there's been a plague essentially of some sort. But this is where you start off. Well, this is Reign of Darkness. Some early impressions. I'm enjoying it a lot because I like the atmosphere. It feels good. There's an immediacy to everything. Like the combat's very quick. Although min-maxing is probably quite complicated, you know, the systems are laid out simply for you so you can understand what everything does. There's nothing particularly hidden. Yeah, so I'm enjoying it a lot at the moment. The only thing I would say that I'm slightly disappointed in is that the combat is not complicated enough for me to, I guess, play how I want to play. I mean, at some point, you'd like to see some kind of like raised dead skill for necromancers. I don't think there is one. I haven't seen one. But maybe that's the game. You know, maybe the game is all around damage, increasing your damage, increasing your stats to increase your damage, increase your crit chance. All that. Maybe that's what the game is all about, and that's fine. Yeah, but I would like a little more, some different options on the combat, because looking at the skill trees, they all do feel very similar. You know, every tree seems to do the same thing, but they're just called different things. It's all about damage and stats. There's no crowd control. There's no charming. There's no taming. There's no pets that I can see. So yeah, hopefully that's stuff that will be added as time goes on. As I said, you know, again, bear in mind when you're watching this video, if you've seen anything that you don't like or you feel looks a bit janky, you know, is that this is a one-man show, this game, and all the more impressive for that, I would say. Oh, magic bow. Some chest armor I don't really need. I'll leave that loot for now. Yeah, but this has been Reign of Darkness, some early impressions. What I'll do is, as I level up and look at other aspects of the game, as we get deeper into it, I will do another video. Yeah, just giving you some more information. I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and I'll speak to you again soon.